YouTube, what is going on? DA Comics here, back with another video. Welcome to another comic book pickups, comic pickups number 31. Got a bunch of books to talk about this week. A lot of stuff to show you guys. Very exciting new books. Lots of good stuff. Before anyone roasts me, the reason I'm wearing a hat indoors because my hair was a complete and absolute mess, and I didn't have time to shower before filming this, so I was like, you know what, I'll just throw a hat on. But you know, repping the Hunter hat. It's a good hat, good show, good manga. But anyway, diving into my comic books this week, we have a few new books, some really awesome new books, and then a lot of back issues. This is probably going to be the last of these like very heavy back issue haul videos, because I've had to slow down a little bit on the comics I'm picking up, but I kind of just went on a tear for a little while there. Last few episodes, you can go and check those on the channel if you missed them. But diving into this, let's go right into the new books. First book I picked up this week, we have Titans United, Blood Pact, number 1. The reason I picked this up, I've been getting into more DC books, and I really liked the Teen Titans show when I was growing up. And so I was like, what are the Teen Titans up to? And I was looking, and there wasn't any Titans like ongoing series, but I saw that this was coming up, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. It's got Beast Boy, Raven, Starfire, all the classics. No Cyborg, but that's fine. But yeah, it was pretty good. I read it. It was okay. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it was decent. You know, I'll keep picking it up for the next issue, and then we'll see from there if I keep going with it or not. But it was enjoyable, I would say. It definitely was worth the pickup for me so far, but not too much to say about that. Next book is one I've been looking forward to for a while. This is Carnage number 6. This is, of course, the cover from when they first revealed Carnage in Hell, with the very demonic Carnage. Not accurate to the contents of the story, of course, but it's a cool cover nonetheless. But this issue was pretty cool. This series continues to be really interesting. I really like how they're doing it with basically the Carnage symbiote and this like serial killer guy who's like potentially a new host. And then you have the Cletus Cassidy Codex in a cop. And so the two of them are kind of like going against each other. I think that's a really interesting dynamic. I think it really takes the lore of Carnage a little bit further and does something new with it. And I think that's very cool and very creative. So if you're not picking this series up, if you are a fan of Carnage, if you like a little bit of a darker comic book storyline, definitely pick this up. It's definitely worth a read, in my opinion. Grab some drink. So, very good book. Definitely going to keep picking it up. I don't see myself dropping it anytime soon. Hopefully it keeps going for a long time. Next book is one I have been looking forward to for about a month. Ever since the last issue came out, and I loved it. This is Batman One Bad Day, Two-Face number 1. If you watched my videos, when Batman One Bad Day, the Riddler came out, I loved that. I thought that comic was so good. One of the best comic books I've ever read. So that left me very much looking forward to this issue and all of the future Batman One Bad Days. And what I'll say about this issue, I was looking forward to it a little bit less because I don't really care for Two-Face as a villain as much as I do for like the Riddler or some of the other characters that are coming up. But this was still really good. It wasn't as good as the Riddler issue, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I really expected it to be. You know, if I went into this going like needs to be as good as the Riddler one, I mean that's a really high expectation because that comic is one of my favorite comics I've ever read. So this one, without holding it unfairly to that expectation, I would say was a really good comic. It was different. I noticed that they didn't do like the Riddler one was very much a mirror of The Killing Joke. It was framed the same way. They did the flashbacks to the origin and then the current story. This comic did not do that. It was framed differently. They didn't do the flashbacks like that. It was really just a one-off story. But it was still really good. And it did kind of touch on his origin a little bit. So if you were new to the comics, it kind of introduces you to the concept of Two-Face. And I definitely enjoyed it. It was definitely really good. Definitely worth a pickup. Not as good as the Riddler, but like I said, that is almost unattainable. The next one next month is Penguin, I believe. So I'm really looking forward to that one. That's going to be really, really cool. But loving this series, loving what they're doing with it. Super excited to pick up more of them. That's all I can say, really. It's awesome. Nothing bad to say about it. Now, the last new book I picked up this issue, the reason I saved this one for last over the Batman One Bad Day is because I was very excited for this book, and I gotta say I am very happy with it. We have Vanish #1. This is, of course, the new series coming from Image Comics, written by Donny Cates and drawn by Ryan Stegman, with art by Ryan Stegman. This is, of course, the team behind my favorite Venom run. Have this book here signed by the two of them. And what's awesome about this series is it's the two of them, and it's over at Image, so it's creator owned, and it's original, it's new, it's something different. I was very excited to pick this book up. I would love to get this book signed by the two of them, CGC, one day. But I loved this book. It's kind of like, it's like Spawn if instead of demons and pacts with demons, it was like magic and D&D. There's like a whole world of dragons and sorcerers and warlocks, but then it's also set in the normal world, and these warlocks and sorcerers are coming to the normal world and pretending to be superheroes, but they're actually evil. It's a very interesting world, which I think is really important for a indie book. You need a world that really captivates you. I mean, you look at Saga, right? It's a really unique narrative world. You look at Spawn. I think this book definitely did a good job of establishing the story, establishing the character, and getting me into it where I'm ready for the next issue. It did kind of remind me of Spawn #1 a little bit, in the sense of it just kind of started and was like, here's the gist of the character, here's his origin, boom, end of issue 1, he's ready to go. And it's awesome. This cover is incredible. Ryan Stegman's art is incredible as always. I think the story itself is very cool. I like the idea. The book itself is called Vanish, which is seemingly tied to one of the characters in the book, Baron Vanish, who's like this villain that he defeated when he was a kid. And I kind of like the idea that as this book goes on, like obviously this first story arc or 2 or 3 is going to be about him hunting down Baron Vanish's like old accomplices. But after that, like eventually I hope that this series will run for a long time, and that they'll have to go to different story arcs and different antagonists and things like that. I like the idea that Vanish kind of becomes his like superhero name, basically. Like he takes the name of Baron Vanish and goes like, I'm Vanish. But I'm super excited for this book. I'm really happy to be on board with it from the beginning. You know, you look at a book like Spawn, it's like they're in the 300s now. So if I wanted to start reading that or collecting that, you know, I need to start from the beginning and all of that. Same with like Walking Dead. I started reading Walking Dead at issue 108. So I was late to the party. This is a book that I think really has potential to be a very popular book, to run for a very long time. It was a very hyped up book because this creative team is so popular. It's such a fan favorite team. I think a lot of people were looking forward to this series. So I think it has a lot of potential to go very far, and I'm excited to be here at the beginning. I have my issue 1. You know, I'm going to get issue 2, 3. I'm going to have every issue. I'm very excited for the future. I hope 10 years from now we can have Vanish 200 or whatever. I don't know how the math works out, but we'll be deep into the series. I'll have the entire run. And I hope that these creators stay on the book, because I think they started this book together because they enjoyed working together on Venom so much. And I really just love both of these creators. I mean, Ryan Stegman's art is iconic. He's obviously drawn a lot of Spider-Man in the past. I think his work on Venom was phenomenal. And Donny Cates is probably my favorite writer in comics right now. He wrote my favorite Venom run. He's writing Thor, which is really good. He's writing the new Hulk run, which I'm not as big of a fan of, but that's for other reasons. But all in all, this is an awesome, awesome book. Happy to have my issue #1. I really want to get, there's a variant cover of this issue that's a Spawn #1 cover swipe. That you can only get on, I think, Ryan Stegman's website. Is like $30 or something. So I did not pick that up. It's probably sold out by now, but I would like to pick that up. I think that would be really cool to have. And like I said, one day, I mean, obviously they're not going to exist for a little while, but either if I have the opportunity to get this signed myself, or if I can find one online, I'd love to have a CGC'd signed copy of Vanish 1 by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. That would be really cool. I'll put it right next to my Venom, and they'll look great together. So, awesome book. If you haven't picked this up, if you didn't know this is coming out, go to your comic store. I would not be surprised if it sells out, because this is seriously, like, they've been hyping up pre-ordering this because I think it's going to sell out. So, definitely go and pick up your copy while you can. I think there was only one left at my comic store that I bought this from after I bought this. So, definitely worth a pickup. Super awesome book. 10 out of 10. Very excited about the future of that, and I cannot wait until issue 2 next month. But that is all of the new books that came out this week. Now we have some back issues. Whole variety of back issues, so we're just going to dive right into these. First up, got a couple of books that I picked up at an antique store, in a local antique store. We were there looking for other stuff, and I knew they had some comics, so I went and through them, and they didn't have anything crazy, but they had a couple books that I was like, they're $2, why not get them? We have Action Comics 722. As you guys know, I've been trying to pick up more DC back issues, and Action Comics is one of the series that I wanted back issues from, so figured I'd pick that one up. And then we have Action Comics 733. So, just a couple Action Comics books from the late 90s. Nothing too crazy, but filling in the collection. Next up, we have a new Marvel back issue series that I wanted to pick some books up from. I have some more coming, but as you guys know, I've been expanding my repertoire of what series I pick up for my collection. I started picking up Ghost Rider, I started picking up Howard the Duck, started picking up, what else did I start picking up? Picked up some Avengers and stuff. Another series that I really like, specifically from when I first started getting into comics, is Marvel Team Up. I think Marvel Team Up is a really fun series. If you aren't familiar with it, basically in the 70s, there was a series called Marvel Team Up where every issue would feature 2 Marvel heroes teaming up for kind of a one-off story. Basically, every issue had Spider-Man as one of the heroes. Occasionally, it would be Human Torch instead of Spider-Man. But all of these that I picked up are, of course, Spider-Man. So basically, it's just Spider-Man teaming up with whoever. So I just picked out some heroes that I thought were really cool. It's got some really cool covers. And we're going to go through these. So we got Marvel Team Up number 20, which is Spider-Man and the Black Panther. Love this cover. You got Stegron up here, Spider-Man framed on the left side of the page, and then you got Black Panther kind of reaching for him. I think that's just a really cool cover. Pretty solid copy, too. It's, I would say, maybe like a 5.0, maybe 5.5. Not too bad at all. Next one, we got Marvel Team Up 41, featuring Spider-Man and the Scarlet Witch. Another awesome cover. Again, with Spider-Man flailing on this side of the cover, but you got Scarlet Witch here under the mind control of Cotton Mather, shooting her magic beams. I really love Scarlet Witch as a character. Obviously, been loving her in the MCU. And I'd like to get more comics with her in them, because I think she's really, really cool. So, thought that was a really cool issue. Next up, Marvel Team Up number 43, featuring Spider-Man and Doctor Doom. Not exactly a Marvel superhero, but still a really cool character. Got Doctor Doom over here. Super cool. Next up, the perfect crossover. Marvel Team Up 96 with Spider-Man and Howard the Duck. Waiting for them to make this movie in the MCU. But aside from that, I love Howard the Duck. I think he's a really funny character. And so a crossover with him and Spider-Man is, of course, a must-have. Then we have 122 with the Man-Thing. Very cool character. And then the last Marvel team-up I have this week is 135 with Kitty Pryde. I did not know that this issue existed, but I saw it at the store the other day. And Kitty Pryde is my favorite X-Men character, so definitely a crossover I wanted to have. I really like Kitty Pryde as a character, and I think Spider-Man and Kitty Pryde crossover is cool. Plus, in the Ultimate Universe, I think they dated, so it's interesting. Now, I mentioned Howard the Duck quite a bit. I picked up one Howard the Duck issue last week. I have a few more this week that finally came in. I think I have one more on the way. Actually, I have one more that's going to come today, so if that comes before I upload this video, I might add it in later, so there might be another one. But got some Howard the Duck books here. So first up, we have Howard the Duck 26, doing a little bit of stand-up there. Then we have Howard the Duck 14, featuring a duck possessed. He's got the Satan horns and the pitchfork. Howard the Duck number 9, When Bites the Beaver. I love this beaver villain. I think it's so funny. This book, really, really cool cover. Howard the Duck number 6, The Secret of the Cellar Sinister. Very, very cool. And then the last Howard the Duck that I have here, Howard the Duck number 3, Master of Quack Fu. A little bit, maybe a teensy bit racist comic book, but it is from the 70s, so what do you expect, you know? But, super fun book there. Super fun. Love that cover. I love the art that they have on the Howard books. I think they're so good. And the last book that I have this week, unless my package comes, like I said, is a pretty awesome book that I didn't think I'd be able to get. With Vanish coming out, I was really hyped about Image Comics, and I mentioned Spawn earlier. As you guys may know, I've picked up a few Spawn books in the past, but I never really got into it because I never read them. So recently I decided that I would go on Comixology and try to actually read through Spawn from the beginning so that I could start picking it up today and have, start collecting Spawn, because I think Spawn is a really cool comic. Obviously, Todd McFarlane, legendary. But I was like, well, let me look into getting a Spawn comic. And I found this book for a lot cheaper than I thought I would. And this book, in case you haven't guessed it yet, is Spawn number 1. I thought this would be a more expensive book. I mean, I didn't know a whole lot about Spawn, but I knew that Spawn number 1 was a pretty popular comic. I think I got this for like $20, $25, which is not bad at all. It's probably like 9.6, 9.4. Very good condition, but not near mint plus, not perfect 9.8, but first appearance of Spawn, first issue of Spawn. And I think if I'm going to start collecting back issues, I might just go, like, next up I'll get issue 2, and then 3, and 4, and 5, and just kind of work my way up. But yeah, super cool book. Obviously the brainchild of Todd McFarlane, legendary artist, was on Spider-Man for a while. Super cool. I thought this would be a really cool parallel to, where did it go? Oh, it's over here. I thought this would be a really cool parallel to Vanish 1, because you have the brainchild and first issue of an Image comic, creator-owned by Todd McFarlane, and then you have the first issue of Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. So, very cool Image Comics haul. I think it's a awesome parallel. And I think these books thematically are also very similar. I think that's why this fits in so well over at Image, because it's very similar in vibe to Spawn. But that is my pickups for this week. So, a bunch of awesome books. Gonna have to do some more sorting in my comic box. I need a divider for Spawn. I need one for Marvel Team Up. I need one for Vanish. So probably gonna work on that later today. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button and leave a comment down below your thoughts. Did you pick up Vanish number 1? What were your thoughts on it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about Batman One Bad Day? I'd love to hear discussion on that in the comments. I try to read every single comment, so if you guys could give your thoughts, I'd love to see those and respond to those. And if you are new here, consider hitting that subscribe button. I do these videos every week, showcasing my new comic pickups, additions to the collection, back issues, new books, talking about them. You get the idea. You just saw what it was. So, but that's going to do it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Thank you.